Hey, let's talk about monopolies for just a second, okay? Um, a monopoly is a market dominated by a single seller. Instead of many buyers and sellers, like we just talked about in pure competition, a monopoly has just one seller and any number of buyers. Barriers to entry make monopolies possible. Monopolies can take advantage of their monopoly power and charge high prices. And it's because of this reason the United States has outlawed monopolistic practices in most industries. The government allows monopolies in certain industries. A natural monopoly is a market that runs most efficiently when one firm provides all the output. Back in the days when we had hard lines, it was the local telephone company was a monopoly. It was inefficient for more companies to build this expensive hardwired network. Electric, we can really only get our electric from Austin Energy unless we go full solar, right? It would be inefficient to have several different electric companies all having running their own wires. Why does the government regulate a natural monopoly? It's absolutely to keep the monopolist from having too much power. In such cases, the government may give one company the right to dominate a geographic area, like they're the only ones that can run that electric company, but they will let the government control its prices. So it's a fair market value and not doesn't cost too much. The government can grant monopolies also by issuing patents or licenses. A patent gives a company the exclusive right to sell a new good or service over a specific time period. We see this mainly one of the major places is in the medical field in pharmaceuticals, and a company can come up with a new way to treat, say, cholesterol. I have high cholesterol. I take Crestor. Well, for 10 years, the company that made Crestor was the only one that could sell Crestor. After 10 years, that patent expires, and now anybody can sell it. And the price drops significantly once their patent is expired. A license is a government issued right to operate a business. Radio license give a station the right to broadcast on a certain frequency. 104.9 The Horn FM is a sports talk radio. Nobody else can play anything on that frequency in the Austin area. Unlike firms in competitive markets, monopolists have control over prices. But as you've learned in the law of supply and demand, the law of demand means that when a monopolist raises the price, it will sell fewer goods. So the monopolist sets a price that maximizes its profits. This usually means fewer goods at a higher price than would be sold in a more competitive market. They're going to figure out exactly how much of something they should make so that they can get top dollar for it. If they charge too much, nobody's going to buy it, or less people are going to buy it. They also tried to maximize profits by using price discrimination. This means a monopolist can charge different groups of customers different prices for the same product. If you've ever tried to book an airline ticket, like the day before you fly, it's way more expensive than if you book it before like 2 months out. Or if you look at UPS and Amazon, UPS is not charging Amazon the same price to ship their products as they're charging you and I. But Amazon does such a volume, ship so many packages through UPS that it makes sense for them to make sense for UPS to charge less per box. Price discrimination can only work if the good is difficult to resell and if it's easy to divide customers into groups that will pay different prices, like the airlines. What might happen if a monopolist increases output of its product each week? The price of the good would eventually fall, and so would the revenue, because if you just keep producing, then there's too much, and if there's too much, like our law of supply and demand, then it won't sell. Why do monopolists engage in price discrimination? It's all about maximizing their profits. Why does the government grant patents to some firms that develop new products? Why do we have patents? Well, it encourages firms to research new products um, and new ways to do things that will benefit society. What happens to the average total cost curve for a company with economies of scale? So, economies of scale mean the more you make of something, the cost of each item is less. So, if I were to open my own car company, the very first car I make is going to be super expensive. Okay. The second car I make is going to be a little bit less expensive than the first. And then as I make more, the cost per unit decreases. So when production increases, the cost of production falls. That's all we have. Thanks for listening.